It's three guys who combined to play 15 seasons in the National Football League trenches. Well, two guys. And Mackey, who didn't do shit. This is the O-Line Committee.
Gentlemen, we arise at 5 o'clock in the morning to break down Championship Sunday. Alex Boone, Jeremiah Sirles, former loyal Buffalo Bill.
Oh, he's pissed. He's
Phil
really
Mackey.
pissed.
In fact, let's do a couple things real quick here.
Do it.
Welcome in, O-Line Committee. Click that like button, the subscribe button if you're new here.
So bad.
One, we had to break down film just off mic for 15 minutes just so Jay could.
I had to see it.
It's bad. I cannot
start his
wait
day.
for tomorrow to break it down with you.
I had to see it, dude.
Can I read through some Jeremiah text messages too here from last night?
Oh.
I could pod right now. I'm so pissed. I'm livid. This was the year. This was the time for the Bills.
You were deep, dude. You got
Kincaid,
deep last night.
WTF.
Yeah.
Kincaid, catch the punt, man. Like,
man.
I don't know what to tell you. It was a punt, and I get it. It wasn't the easiest catch in the world, but it was definitely a lot harder than I guess somewhere Mark Andrews is smiling. Right, somewhere Mark Andrews is like, "Oh,
you are evil."
Another tight end that didn't do it. It's off of me now.
That was terrible.
Somewhere Mark Andrews has a slight tear just rolling down his face,
No, he doesn't.
going, "Good job, Kincaid. I appreciate you.
No one's talking about me
I
ever again.
appreciate you, Dalton Kincaid.
You are terrible.
Dust
for
the
saying
shoulders off.
Now all the first graders can send their condolence cards to Kincaid
Send 'em to
instead of
Kincaid.
me. Yeah. So let's do this. Let's start with Bills Chiefs. Jay, you pick a mic. We'll do our who's the mic format here. Identify something important. Then we'll do the other game.
Yeah.
And there's other things that have happened too in the NFL. But let's sit in this AFC
go.
Championship
Let's
game
do
for
it.
a while.
Sit
Jay,
here.
start
Let's
us out.
sit here.
that. Who's your mic?
Why the fuck didn't the Buffalo Bills run the football in the first half?
Ooh,
That's
a good
my
question.
mic.
That's a great question.
Because they come out in the second half and they decide, you know what? We're going to run it like 9 times straight and just go straight down the field and score a touchdown. They come out the first drive. They run quarterback power and then 2 straight passes and go 3 and out. It was almost like Joe Brady immediately fell into the trap. Of Allen versus Mahomes. We got to start. Even Tony Romo, I don't know why they kicked it to Josh. Quarterbacks that start hot in this game usually win the game. And you're like, or do what got you there.
Right.
And run the football with James Cook. Don't allow Chris Jones and Karlaftis to get a beat on the pass rush, right? Go that way first. And I just felt like at the beginning of the game, we kind of just wasted a couple possessions as the Bills of trying to throw the ball and do too much instead of just trusting the run game and dictating the tempo. We got to it too late because with that point, we were already playing catch up. Right, you were just trying to score to tie.
Right.
We never were in the moment there. We had like one drive in the entire game that was score to go up, right? And when you're trying to establish the run game, that's a hard thing to do when you're constantly in the back of your mind like, gosh, even if we score here, the Chiefs are probably going to get the ball back and go score and go up again.
Right.
I just felt like it took too long for the Bills to get into their flow offensively. And I have a defensive take too.
No,
just
stay
too hard
here.
too hard for the Bills to get into their flow offensively that they never got there until like mid third quarter.
I agree with you 100%. Dude, James Cook had, 17 touchdowns in the regular season? 17 fucking touchdowns. Went insane. Like, at times, we were talking on this show about how James Cook was the reason that they could actually win it because now it didn't have to be all Josh Allen. It could be like, hey, I'm going to hand it off here. I'm going to do a little bit of this. But, dude, listen, and I'm not throwing blame on anyone. We'll break down the film tomorrow, and we can openly talk about it because I'm curious to see who you feel in the room would get most blame for. But at the same time, I feel like a lot of this goes to Joe Brady because instantly the game, like you said, started off trying to be too much Josh Allen. And it's like, hey, this guy back here and this dominating offensive front is what's going to help you get all the way there. What else is it going to do? It's going to stop the fucking blitzing. It's going to stop the corners from coming inside. It's going to stop the Mike from running through the A gap. Like instantly when you start running the ball, all the pass protection blitzes, they're out the window. You're not in an overload front anymore. You're not running fucking corner cats through the B gap. Like shit like that doesn't happen. Yeah, maybe you run the Mike and Will through or the Mike and Sam in a middle dog cross, but everything is more contained inside. And so all of a sudden you get to put Spags kind of back in his place. Hey, this is your wheelhouse. You like it when we go 4x1. Now I'm going to go tight, and we're going to give it to James Cook, and then we're going to play action off of it. Dude, I agree with you 100%. And for God's sakes, how many times are we going to fucking tush push it for no good? Like, dude, I was like, okay, listen, it's not working. It's not work. Like, I was kind of becoming upset too. Like,
it's kind of a bad day for the tush push.
I feel like they fell asleep, dude. I feel like the Bills just.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I went back and looked. You know, when at their Week 11 win against the Chiefs, he only ran the ball 9 times. And so I feel like they were like, well, we didn't do it last time and we won, so let's just. But this is a totally different Chiefs team than Week 11.
Yes,
right. They're in completely different form. They're different defensively. Right. They made some changes after that game when they found some weak spots when the Bills finally beat them and beat their undefeated season. Right. They made changes and they made schematic differences on that defensive side because Spags is, I don't know, if he wins another one, dude, you got to put him in the Hall of Fame. I don't know what else to say. He'll have 5 Super Bowls or is it 4? I don't even know. But
5.
Like, the game plan he put together was just unbelievable. The balls on him to blitz when he did, to put man coverage out there, to dare the offense to throw it to a man coverage type receivers. I mean, he is just an unbelievable defensive coordinator.
And they have an amazing secondary, and that's how they get away with it. I mean, we just watched, right? Like we know the answer because we know Spags well enough, right? That when we get to the line and we see this, we're like, this is a trick. This is right, dude. We saw that front. We looked, and you're like, "Where's it coming from?" And I'm like, "Can I answer this?" Because I played Spags before, and I know if 3 guys are walked up to the left, it's probably coming from the right. Right. At the same time, in that moment, and we watched it, I think a little bit of it's going to fall on the quarterback. At some point, it's like, why are we sliding this way when we have trouble coming from this way, right? And we kind of broke it down, but that's who Spags is. And in the biggest moment, in the biggest games, what's he going to do? He's going to cause confusion in your mind. He's going to cause you to start going, wait a minute, is that 3 over 4?
Well,
slide out there.
So one thing, it was funny this week with my rookies. There on Friday, we watched every third down Spags blitz from the season. There was like 56 of them, right? And every single time, every week, there was something different. Every week, right? I was pointing out to the guys, like, hey, it's week 11. Have we seen this blitz yet? And they're like, no, we haven't. I was like, it's the flavor of the week. And he has 18 to 20 flavor of the weeks that he will sprinkle in there. And guess what? By the time you get to the end of the season, you have to practice all those looks, but you don't have time to practice all the looks. So half the looks are walkthrough, right? So then you're trying to get up there and you're like, wait, was this week 8 or was this week 13? Like, which one was this? They look eerily similar, but one came off the right with secondary, one came off the left with double linebacker, right? The what he's been able to build around that defense to disguise blitzes from linebackers, blitzes from secondary, and then we can just rush 4 and get home. It's such a mind
So wait,
meld.
can I ask you guys something about that? And I'm going to throw my guy Ben Johnson under the bus, and we can get to that because that happened after we recorded last week. But Ben Johnson, as a play caller on the offensive side, can't help himself. We're up by 3 touchdowns, but I've got this thing that we installed. It's a double reverse wide receiver pass, like
smoke screen pass. Yep.
Let's even though we're going to win the game without unleashing that play, let's do it. It seems to me like Spags knows it's October. We're gonna play the Bills in late January, or we're gonna play the Ravens or whoever. It seems like he has a section on his play chart, like that blitz he called on the Kincaid drop. Is that something does he sit on an exotic look like that all season or since their last meeting? Discipline, specifically holding it. Because we actually watched that play, and we'll break it down on here.
I think what Spags does is he goes and looks, how can I hurt you, right? Like, what will directly affect you? What are you not looking for? Because in the moment, like we just talked, the last play of the game, and everyone kind of knows this, he brought the corner. bringing the corner is not very common. It's so uncommon. I think in 10 years, I've seen the corner cat 4 or 5 times.
2 of which in the playoffs here. One of them, just twice of them came from the Vikings. The LA ran against the Vikings and crushed Darnold's face.
Yeah. I mean, when you see it, you're kind of like, is that the corner blitzing? What the fuck is that, right? But not only that, but he brought the will with him. So all of a sudden now you're like, wait a minute, we got a fucking will and a corner coming on the last play of the game. We're going man versus Josh Allen. But what did he do? He got him to slide the wrong way, which instantly is going to cause doubt in Josh's mind because he's going to start to panic. I'm not saying Dalton Kincaid should not have caught that ball. Absolutely, he should have caught it. But at the same time, that whole play was screwed from the beginning. Like from jump, the minute that they realized they slid the wrong way, they were like, shit, it's going to be trouble.
Two free runners.
Dude, and Osiris Torrance is like, you see him trying to like block everybody. Like, I don't know what to do. But that's Spags, right? Did you honestly think on 4th and 5 you were just going to get to sit back there and be like, this is me? I'm about to Mahomie the Mahomie? No. Spags was literally like, I'm going to throw everything at you, and I hope to God you can get through it.
And on the flip side, game on the line. So you have a chance.
Game on the line, dude.
Well, but on the flip side, you get the ball back if you stop the Chiefs. Mm-hmm. And if you noticed on a couple of those key plays, like second half of the 4th quarter, like the last couple Chiefs drives, the last one too, I think the dagger play and the Bills are dropping 8 back into coverage and sending 3 rushers. It wasn't like a 3rd and 10 or 3rd and 11 that they hit on that little like a drag route from the right to the left, the Chiefs to win the game.
Yeah.
I think if you go back and watch that, I think the Bills sat back in coverage, and Spags doesn't sit back and let you dictate.
No.
That's the difference.
No, and that's the problem. And like he believes in that though, right? And like that's one of the things that we've talked about all season is they have one of the best secondaries. And when you can disguise coverages and when you can play man-to-man coverage and you can play super tight, don't get me wrong, they got a couple calls, right? Like everyone's always going to get a couple calls in a game, but for the most part, I consider the KC Chiefs to have one of the best secondaries in the NFL because they're smart. They can play you man-to-man, and they can blitz you 65 times and still be like, we'll figure this out. Like, we're going to be fine. Why? Why do they say that? Because look who their quarterback is. Hello. Do you think they're over there like, we're playing the scared game? We're not. We're not scared about anything. Matter of fact, I'm going to throw people at you that you probably haven't seen come at you all year. I promise you. The Bills have not seen a corner cat like that the entire year. And that's why Spags did it. Because he was like, hey, let me look at my Rolodex of shit that they've seen. We probably don't want to throw any of that at them. Why? Because they're an experienced offensive line. They're very good. Spencer Brown, Deion Dawkins. They know what the fuck they're doing. Connor McGovern in the middle. We shouldn't do that. What should we do? We should throw something at them they haven't seen all year. That's what we're going to do. In the biggest moment, we're going to throw what they have not seen all year and see what do you do. And what happened? They failed the test again.
Because you know it's coming down.
You said this was the team that was built to beat the Chiefs.
I thought it was the year. I did. So did everyone else.
What the fuck? Hello?
But I also hedged and said as long as playoff Pat is still on the Chiefs,
you know
it's
what?
hard to bet against them. And that's the thing. I don't know how you bet against Mahomes in the playoffs anymore.
I don't either.
Seven AFC championship games
in a row.
This is what, his 6th Super Bowl appearance?
Yeah.
Yes.
What the are we doing, dude? Like, unbelievable if you really zoom out from 1,000 yards and look down.
Is it 5th Super Bowl?
No, I think it's his 5th Super Bowl, but his 6th appearance, sixth championship in a row.
But
now here's my problem. Mm-hmm. Here's my problem with all this. The minute we thought we had him, all of a sudden the team came back together. Like Juju Smith-Schuster came out of nowhere. Okay, we got Xavier Worthy showing up out of nowhere. P. Ryan fucking showing up. P. Ryan still
Hollywood
playing.
Brown,
dude. We got Hollywood Brown. We got D Hop. We got fucking Kelsey. I'm on 2 hands.
They actually
now,
have crazy weapons now.
Dude, that's my whole point.
Pacheco
this game
comes
started
back midway through the year.
This game started and people were coming out of nowhere, and I was like, when did Juju get back? Wait, what? What's going on right now? And all of a sudden, Hollywood Brown becomes a target. Then all of a sudden, we're thrown to Xavier Worthy, and that became the issue. There's just too much. Well, it's too much to handle. I'm sorry.
The rhythm passing game was they could not get to him in the first half.
No,
they got to him a little bit more in the second half because the Bills finally tightened up on the back end of their secondary. But losing Bedford, really hurt.
That concussion, God, that looked terrible.
Elam is a walking liability.
Oh, he was bad.
Like that kid is. I mean, that one play where they didn't throw it to him, but like they press him up, they stick him, they come back, and he's like stumbling down the field. It's his wide receivers just like wide open, running over the middle. It's like, buddy, you were a first-round pick. get it together, right? But man, it's just frustrating to watch that game and go, I don't know what else. Like, what more did the Bills need to do, right? Because they had it there. They tied it up. They go up there. Like, was it getting to the run game earlier? Was it continuing to push the ball down the field at times? Because I felt like a little dink and donkey. But also at the same time, they had a pretty good game plan offensively in the second half. So, like, where was the disconnect?
Couldn't you make a case, though, that of all the things in this game, that there were, I think, 3 plays. If any of the 3 plays go Buffalo's way instead of Kansas City's, Buffalo wins the game. There's however there's 130 plays run in this game, and we can go into the bad spot controversy. But if that ball gets spotted as a first down, Buffalo's got the lead. They're in field goal range now. It's fourth quarter. Here we go.
Yeah, that's a huge one.
If Josh, so you guys pointed out, we were breaking down just some of the early film off camera. We'll do the YouTube version here for you guys in the next couple days. But Josh Allen saw cover 0 on a play late in the fourth, dials up a perfect little wide receiver like bubble screen, and receiver kind of bobbles the ball, and it was a 50-yard touchdown waiting to pop.
Yes.
And then if Dalton Kincaid catches the pop-up that Josh Allen throws, if any of those plays go Buffalo's way, they're going to the Super Bowl.
And I would even say that even on the third down spot, like Kincaid gets the first down, and then they're like, no, he's short, right? That spot was wrong, and then they blow the other spot. I mean, I'm not blaming the officials in this one. Like, that one was pretty bad, but I thought overall it was a fairly well officiated game. Like, from a standpoint of holdings and DPIs and personal fouls and that piece of it, was that spot atrocious? Yes, 100%. But other than that, I felt like they let the boys play pretty fairly across the board.
Which you should, right? It's a playoff.
Besides letting Kelsey absolutely taunt DeMar Hamlin in the face, and then Jordan Phillips runs over and just headbutts him. But,
dude, Phillips, what are you doing?
What are we doing, bud? But like, how does Kelsey not get taunting on that?
Dude, you're in KC. Are you crazy? They're not getting that call. You're never getting that call. Knock it off.
But I think the problem is that spot. I agree on third down, by the way. I thought it was a first down, third down. But that spot, whether it was malicious or not, or I know people think there are conspiracy theories about the league and wanting to push the Chiefs through, but that game and that spot only stoke the flames of these raging narratives and the other one, as Josh Allen sits there head in hands watching confetti fall again for the Kansas City Chiefs. So there's 2 narratives going into the game that are only like 10x now, that the officials are in it for the Chiefs and that Josh Allen can't win.
Yeah.
He's not going to get over the hump. Because at the end of the day, all the things that happen, 3.5 left, you're down by 3 timeouts, the ball's in your hand. Here we go.
Yep. Yeah.
Like, this is it.
Go make you had every right to do it. Jay, you even said it. Go take it.
Go be great.
Go be great.
Go be great, Josh. Like, that's what I was saying. I was sitting there going, this is it. This is the time. This is the moment. Go be great. I mean, it all started on that first negative play, that negative run, right? Like, that's when I was like, Kansas City knows something, right? Like, they know something here. They've studied this 2-minute. They know a tendency. They know what's happening. They know that whatever reason, and they sent the perfect blitz. They cross-face the center. Now they're behind the sticks, right? They end up overcoming that. But, yeah, I mean, you could say 1 or 2 calls go here, but Josh had his moment. He had his moment to go down and score that game-winning touchdown and move on. But I guess we have to switch gears a little bit here and just talk about the dynasty that is the Chiefs, right? I mean, wow. You look at it from you want to kill the greatest, right? It's kind of the Brady effect, is everyone's tired of it. I mean, I had multiple people text me like, I don't even want to watch the Super Bowl. It's another Kansas City Chiefs or Eagles Super Bowl. I don't care what's happening. But you kind of just got to zoom out and go, holy shit, dude. 3 in a row.
Yeah.
In this league, in this era.
So hard.
3 in a row. That is unbelievable.
Because the greatest teams that you think about, like from when we were kids,
Patriots?
right? The 49ers in the 80s and 90s.
The Cowboys.
And then the
Broncos.
Cowboys. And the Broncos had that little run at the end of the 90s.
Dallas. Dude, Dallas when they were kicking
none of
ass.
None of them even went to 3 Super Bowls. They all of them had a gap year. Dallas, boom, boom, take a step back in, right? You always need that breather, whether it's for roster, salary cap.
No, you
whatever,
know what it is?
injuries.
It's you're tired because you go so deep into the playoffs that they give you like 6 weeks off, and they'd be like, "Okay, we'll start up in 6 weeks," and you're like, "What?" They're like, "Yeah, we'll see you. Yeah. We'll see you around Easter." You're like, "No, you won't." They're like, no, I will though. And then you're going to keep you for 10 more weeks, and then I'll let you go for 4, and then you come back for the season. You're like, "Wait a minute, I thought the year was longer than that. Does that 12 months?" And then all of a sudden you do that again, and then they go, "Okay, we'll see you in 6 weeks," and you're like, what the fuck? Like, that's why you have no idea. Anyone listening to this, anyone watching this has zero fucking clue how hard this is. And it's kind of low-key why I love Patrick, because he does it. I'm telling you right now, if he wins this Super Bowl, put the gold jacket on him right now. Put it on him right now.
Even if he doesn't.
No, I'm saying if he wins it, if he wins it this year, you might as well just make it this year.
Put him in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah,
while
just
he's
put it
still
in there and be like,
while
"Hey,
he's still playing." Like
the
the
only
first player to
player
ever
ever
have
do
a
this.
gold jacket while still actively playing in the NFL.
Hey, to be fair, Alabama put their softball coach in the Hall of Fame while he was still coaching. And I was like, this has to be the most awkward thing for him, because this is like, guys, I'm not dying, okay? I'm still young.
I don't
But
have pancreatic
seriously,
cancer.
you just can't stop him.
How many gold jackets are on that team right now?
1, 2,
we counting Andy
3.
Reid and Steve Spagnuolo?
Yep.
Yeah.
4. I'd say 5 for sure. Maybe.
You think there's 5 Hall of Famers on that team?
Well, yeah, because you have Spags and you have Andy, and then you have
Andy.
Patrick, and then you have Kelsey, and Chris Jones might make it in if he continues to ride with this team. That's he's part of
because
dude. He's part of the nucleus. And
dominance and rings gets
and
you
they
in.
throw you up there, and they go, it can't just be 2 guys on offense. Who was helping him on defense? Well, here's Spags showing up, right? Normally it's your middle linebacker or one of your safeties is going to make it in, but instead they're like, no, we're going to go to the brains.
Is DeAndre Hopkins, is he getting in?
No, he's not. But at the same time, Chris Jones keeps riding with this, and he keeps showing up, dude. That's one of the other things that we don't ever talk about is not only is it Spags doing it with your mind, but then all of a sudden the defensive end is 330 pounds, and you're like, wait a minute, whoa, the fuck is that? Who is that guy out there?
As he's turning the corner with his side scissors,
dude. He turns corners so fast, but then the problem becomes all of a sudden he moves to the other side, and you're like, wait a minute. He was over there a minute ago. Now he's over here. Like, they're just constantly moving him down the line. And then Karlaftis on the other side. Dude, there's so many ways they can do this. They can have the 2-on-1s.
Also, as I was looking at the blitz study last week, right, we went through all 56, so it kind of went into game plan mode as I was watching it. Like, okay, what would we do here?
What would I do?
They do a great job of, I don't think it's as random as we think, of Chris Jones moving side to side.
Oh, no, there's a rhyme and a reason.
I think they do a great job of showing the blitz away from him, right? So you're forcing,
make you declare.
You have to declare: am I sliding to the blitz
or Chris,
or am I sliding to Chris Jones? Right? Like, they do a great job of making you as an offensive line like choose. Like, right?
How do you want
red
to die?
Pill, blue pill? Whoop. Which one do you want?
We had that a lot,
and they do such a good job of making sure that very rarely are they blitzing the same side that Chris Jones is,
because that'd be stupid. Why would you just slide everything?
But there also is times where you're looking at it going, they're definitely blitzing where Chris Jones is. And all of a sudden it just like flips and moves. And now they're dropping the 3 technique back into the hook curl, and they're sending one. And you're like, my brain, right? Like, it is just incredible. But yeah, I mean, I thought there was 4 for sure. I mean, you have to put Mahomes.
You left out at least one. I think if they win, you're going to
have Joe Thuney.
Joe Thuney.
Oh, Thuney.
A five-time.
For sure.
Thuney, for sure.
Sure. And if Creed continues on the path that he's on, he's been All-Pro 2 years in a row now.
I mean, think about this, dude.
Maybe even 3.
Joe, has it been, how many years has,
I think
I'll look this up. How many years has Creed Humphrey been All-Pro?
He's going to get some consideration. But Joe Thuney caught the end of the Patriots dynasty for a ring or 2.
Yep.
And then he jumps into this Kansas City 3-peat potentially, and he's been a driving force for both teams.
Dude, he's been huge for them to step up at left tackle. We talked about it last week. Dude, it's one of the things that Andy Reid is so good at getting players to play at their best level. And you're talking about moving a guy outside to a whole nother world, and he's like, hey, bud, we're going to be okay. Why? Because this guy behind you is going to make us right. That's got to be such a great feeling to know, like, hey, no matter what, this guy always knows his hots. He always knows where he's going. Dude, like, the minute Buffalo tried to hit him with blitzes, it was like, I'm just going to dice you up even more. And it was like, maybe maybe we don't want to do this. Maybe we don't want to be here. I'm not going to lie, too. That hit on Ed Oliver, I thought there was a flag going to be coming for sure. I was like, oh, he hit him, but here comes a flag. No, oh my God, no flag. Oh, we're letting this go today. That's when you knew it was going to be spicy and exciting.
Yeah, so
Creed's going to get into. He's 25 years old.
He's 25 years old. He's been to 3 Pro Bowls, second team All-Pro in 2022, first team All-Pro this year in 2024, and a potential 3-time Super Bowl champion.
But then you get the boost of just like riding the wave of being Patrick Mahomes center and having
the Jeff Saturday treatment.
Like,
I was just about to say
Jeff Saturday, right? He's going to come out.
Treatment.
He's going to retire, and then the next day be like, "I want to be a head coach." Someone's going to go, "Do it." He can do it. He can do it. By the way, you still guys owe me a steak and a beer for that. Still owe me a steak and a beer.
Any other before we get to the other game here? Any other final thoughts or takes? Josh Allen, man, I feel physical pain watching
makes
him sit there on the bench,
dude.
man.
Did you see him sitting there like, is it?
He knew it was over.
Oh, he did.
Like as soon as he gave the ball back to Mahomes, he was like, I don't think I
feel
touch
good
this
about
again.
this.
I don't think I touched this again.
I mean, shit. Deion Dawkins took his helmet off and was dapping people up. I was like, yeah, they think the game's over. It's over.
Well, I guess my question, I'll pose a question to you two. You now have Brandon Beane's helmet on or hat on, the general manager. What do you have to do to beat the Chiefs personnel wise? Like what are you building your roster at? I said it that they tried to build it this year, right? Which was collapse the pocket from the outside in, bring Russo, bring Epinesa, bring Von Miller, right? Ed Oliver up the gut. That didn't work. Where do you go? Where are you looking in the draft or free agency for this Bills team to get over the hump?
It's a great question, man. Because I know I saw on Twitter last night, like, do you have to make a move on McDermott? It's like, dude, you literally have the second best maybe the best team in the league.
To be fair, I said this about a month ago. If they don't win it, do we get rid of McDermott? And here's the problem. Here's the problem, Jay. You're very biased because you like this guy. You are, because the minute you can't fucking win several years in a row, people go, what are we doing? No.
Andy Reid about
I'm
that in
not
Philly.
even talking about the fans, Jay. I'm talking about the GM and the owner. I'm talking about them going.
But do you think that's a positive? I get
no,
what
I
you're saying,
don't. But I just think
happens,
it's a realistic conversation that comes up. We've been in these rooms. We know that you can only come in second place so many times.
Look at all the disasters, dude. Look at all the disasters around the league when you're switching coaches around.
I'm not saying it's the right move.
You've built a nucleus of guys and culture in Buffalo that's hard to do because guess what? No one wants to live in Orchard Park.
That's a lie. Dude, they're
getting
a new
lived
stadium.
In Orchard Park?
They're getting a new stadium.
Have you ever lived in Orchard Park?
I guarantee
I'm going to tell you again, and listen to me when I say this. Nobody wants to live in Orchard Park, New York.
Yes, they
so
do.
if you
The
think
Bills
that you're
are
just
there.
going to hire some random guy or promote Joe Brady for whatever reason, you will lose the culture that has made that a desirable place. I'm telling you.
They won't. Their fans have made it so fun to want to go there. Nobody looks at Buffalo and goes, I don't want to play there. They look at other places.
Until they have a disaster happening with the coaches that's not the right coach for that area, that's not the right coach for that market.
No one's saying that they should. I'm just saying it's a realistic conversation that's being had about what. Yes, it is. We can't beat this one guy. We can't beat this one team. What are we doing wrong?
Before I have that conversation. Before I had the fire him, I'd have the extension talk.
I would too. I think the correct answer is coverage, secondary.
Yeah, you need a secondary.
When you look at Philadelphia, Kansas City,
apart.
and what they can do with their back end, cornerback, safeties.
Philly's interesting, though, dude. Philly is built they're kind of built similar, right? They have pass rushers up front, and they're trying to get after the quarterback constantly. I just feel like, and I mean this in the most respectful way, I just feel like Buffalo has smaller pass rushers. When you look at Philly, they play nickel the whole fucking game. They're never in base. They are never in base. And you're like, wow, you still can't run the ball against them. Holy shit, right? Jalen Carter in the middle, who's just a dominant force.
Jordan Davis.
Yeah, dude, Jordan Davis comes out of nowhere, and you're like,
gets a sack, gets a crossface
but then
sack.
you look at like the Bills,
pounds.
and the Bills have Ed Oliver, who's not like Jalen Carter. And then at the same time, I'm like, okay, well, where's my Jordan Davis? Where's my run-stopping guy that can pull on a fucking sack every now and then? We don't have one of those? Phillips, maybe?
Yeah. Just joined the team again like 3 weeks ago.
That's my whole point is like if you're going to do something, it has to be on defense. It has to be to stop Patrick. It has to be a nickel. It has to be a safety. It has to be a fucking corner. It's got to be somebody. You cannot just let him sit back there and pick all these dudes apart. It's too much. Or if you're not going to say that, you're going to go, hey, we're going to go and get a massive pass rusher. Like someone huge. Someone that's going to blow the whole fucking side of this offensive line.
That's what they did with Vaughn, and it was a swing and a miss.
But that's the thing is you had every right to be like, this is one of the best at pass rushers. And then all of a sudden it was like, he just got a little too old. We love him to death. I do love Vaughn. I mean, he's fucking awesome.
Unbelievable.
But that's what do you, if you're doing something, it's on defense. Offensively, you're right. I'm blaming this on the run game. If you would have ran the ball and play action a little bit more, what else are you, and I get it. Everyone's like, oh, you're going against Patrick Mahomes. And it's not like Mahomes was fucking throwing dots and darts all over the field. It was like we were doing this dink and dunk thing, and then all of a sudden a couple mesh routes open up, and we're like, okay, we got problems, right? If I'm doing that, I'm looking at that going, hey, I need another defensive end to go murder him back there, or I need a corner, a cover player, somebody that can shut some shit down. We can't just let him go from 1 to 2 to 3 to 4. Oh, there he is. Boom. Or I'm going to run with my legs.
The problem was he didn't even have to get there. He just was throwing it to 1 every damn time.
Dude,
the rhythm passing game at those first 3 drives, I don't think he held the ball longer than 2 seconds every time. Like it was like watching when Brady was just like boom, ball out, boom, ball out, boom, ball out.
That's
like
what's
it
so
was
hard
the
about those
first
guys,
read,
man.
and then that pisses the defensive lineman off.
Oh yeah,
like that was the part for me. I was like, I didn't know if they were going to stop him all game. Right, those first 2 drives when they were just going right down the field until they fumbled the ball inside their own 20. Like this game's about to be over.
Very
like,
uncharacteristic.
We
too.
can't stop them.
dude, I'm not gonna lie. The Bills kind of got lucky with that because they were driving and then they fumbled, and I was like, wait a minute, what's going? And then this is when I was like, oh, the Bills are gonna win this. They're gonna hold on to the ball, right? I will say they did get a little sloppy with the ball, but they just always fell on top of it. But at the same time, dude, if you're gonna fix this Bills team, you got to find somebody on defense. I mean, I think Josh Allen's fine. I think if we run the ball a little bit more, drain some more clock, put a little more pressure on Kansas City.
I mean, I know DeMar Hamlin died, but I think it's time to upgrade at that position. Like I get it's hard to
it's their weakest position.
It's hard to cut the guy that died for you. But probably need to have that conversation.
Yeah. Can I say one last thing on behalf of Bills fans, too? And I know, Jay, you feel this as a man who's gone through a table in Orchard Park before. This is if you're like a 40-year-old Bills fan or older, you remember the early 90s. Actually, it started in the late 80s because they had a conference championship team in 1988. But they've now had, in your lifetime, if you're 40, 50 years old, 2 teams that are just 12, 13 win steamrollers for like 6 years where you are that team. And to not have, over the course of the 11 or 12 total seasons that they've been this dominant in 2 different eras, to not have a championship is pretty wild. It's
who's the more suffering fan base, Mackey, Vikings or Bills?
I'm going to say Bills. Because they've taken it farther, and you're still like, wait, what? Like, dude, at some point, as I've lived here in Minnesota for a long time, I'm over it. I am over this shit.
Because the Vikings, what the Vikings will do is they'll pop up like once every 8 to 10 years with an awesome team. 98, best offense in the history of the NFL.
2009.
Boom, beat by the Falcons. 09, Favre.
Lose to the Saints.
They outgained the Saints
17,
by like 200 yards. In the
lose to the Eagles. Dude, you're right. It's every fucking decade. They
every 8 to 10 years they pop
nowhere.
up, and then they just get the rug pulled. In the case of Buffalo, it's once every 20 years, once every 30 years. They have one of the 2 best teams in the NFL for like a 6-year stretch, and they can't punch through. Yeah.
Everybody gets old. Money just dries up.
It's the only 0 for 4
Jay, your
Super
Bills
Bowl
really
teams
let us
in
down, dude. I'm not gonna lie. I was with
dude,
when
Marlon
Humphrey.
They let the country down.
Hey, when Marlon Humphrey tweeted, did you see Marlon Humphrey's tweet?
No.
He was like, we can't let this guy win. Josh, you got to beat him. And it was like, Jesus, the whole country is rooting against.
Did you send that? Did you guys see that Instagram I sent you last night?
No.
Right. It's the one from Breaking Bad where like Mahomes running around. It's when Jesse Pinkman's like, he can't keep getting away with this. Like he can't keep getting away with this.
Yeah, but buckle up because the problem is he's not even 30 yet, right?
No,
he's 29.
We've got 10 years left of Mahomes.
Get ready, boys. It's coming.
My question is,
wild,
I mean,
man.
I guess our only hope is that Andy Reid gets tired of doing this. But I think at this point, Andy's like, I think this is pretty autopilot for me.
Okay, one thing on Andy
I got
Reid.
all this shit that I just installed over the last
have you
6-7 years,
sheet?
and then Mahomes can pick and choose whatever he wants to do. I don't care anymore.
AI, you got like an AI bot,
Yeah.
Andy Reid. But I think every fan who watches you guys, when have you not complained about your offensive coordinator or head coach's play calling, right? I know it's always a big thing among Vikings fans. Like, play calling. I hate criticizing play calling because there's so much context that you just don't know and installation you don't know. Has anyone in the last, like, in the Chiefs era since Patrick Mahomes, helps to have Patrick Mahomes, but like, when have you ever thought to yourself, boy, Andy Reid kind of whiffing on the play calls here in this quarter?
Yeah.
Like, he's dialing up in the highest leverage moments of guys' careers, and he's just dialing up perfect 3rd and 10 season on the line.
I mean, we'll watch it tomorrow, but I watched it as we were talking about it. That 3rd and 10 to Pirine, they ran up at a trips formation on the left side. They run 3 crossers across the middle at different levels, and then Pirine, who's on the back offset to the right, sneaks through the line of scrimmage and then pops out left as the running back, the linebacker then has to run through the 3 receivers to get over there. I mean, there was no shot. And you go back and you think about the Super Bowl when he broke it down against the Niners, how he runs that same play where they orbit motion the guy into the backfield. He puts his foot in the ground and he comes back and the free safety sprinting over the top because earlier in the game they ran the reverse and spit it to him on the other side. The dude is he's a chess player.
Yep.
Right? Chess players, my dad always told me this when I was growing up. Chess players are always 3 moves ahead of you. Right? The good ones. The good chess players are always 3 moves ahead of you. They anticipate your next move, and then they know their next move, and then they're ready for your next move, right? And I feel like that's where Andy Reid has always been. And even when, what was it? Get rid of Tyreek Hill, and you've got to revamp how you won your Super Bowl, right? You've got to revamp, okay, we can't high fly it. I've got the quarterback. I've got the arm. I used to have the fastest receiver in the country. Okay, now I got to change my whole offense up. Boop, 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 boop. Okay, now we just do this offense and we'll go win Super Bowls. His ability to adapt and everything is just unbelievable.
We can maybe save some of these but there's some fascinating legacy questions to get to here in the 2 weeks leading up to Super Bowl. And maybe I'll save this for next week where we can really dive in. But Andy Reid he's getting really close with another championship to becoming in the discussion for greatest NFL head coach of all time.
I agree. There's no question.
If he wins another one.
There's no question
He's in that discussion.
Talk about. Dude, when you talk about the dominance, did you see during the game they were talking about how he was like, he has the winningest record as a coach for Philly and for Kansas City, and it was like, you're officially starting to make yourself the greatest ever, right? And the fact that, and I've always believed this, but like, Bill was Bill, and everyone knew how Bill was, and we've always heard stories. Andy's fucking different. He's funny. Andy's on commercials. He's over here messing around, and he still can show you that I still got Bundleruski. Like, I was listening to it during the 4th quarter, and I was like, not only is he making me laugh, but I'm fucking watching him dismantle Josh Allen right now. Like, what the fuck is going on? But that's what makes him so cool. When you can have a coach that's super energetic and go in there and laughs and has fun and does all this shit, it makes you want to go out there and play even harder for him. But at the same time, when you know he's a genius, like criminally a genius when it comes to football, you're like, what could go wrong? If I just run as hard as physically possible, we're going to win this game, right? Like, I just give everything I got. We're going to be fine. Pat's going to do him. They have such a great job of everyone being like, just do your job, right? Like, that's one of the biggest Bill things ever. Just do your job and everything else is going to be fine. You never see guys try to do too much. At times, Patrick is, and that's who he is. But everyone else is like, I'm just here to catch the ball, or I'm here to block. I'm here to run. He does the whole show. That's why they work so well.
Boys, let's put a pause on this here. Let's call this part 1. We just devoted 40 minutes to laying the Bills to rest here. Rest in peace, Buffalo Bills. Sarah McLachlan.
Let's roll that rock back up the hill next year. God, we're so excited.
It's crazy, man.
I know.
So part 2, we'll dive into the NFC Championship game and hopefully a couple of the coaching changes that were made official since the last time we recorded. Click that like button, the subscribe button. O-line committee, Jeremiah Sirles, suffering former Buffalo Bill, Alex Boone, Phil Mackey.
I have to hang a Chiefs banner behind me for the next year, by the way, on every podcast that I do. So that's really unfortunate.
You lost a bet,
really,
huh?
You really fucked that up.
Right.
There's some room right above there, actually. It looks
There
like.
is right here.
That
This
was the
little
bet.
space.
Every
There's
podcast.
some right above your head there.
Yep.
Yeah.
Every podcast. So from here on out,
Let's get you. Can we get you a Chiefs helmet?
Yeah, we should.
No.
We should.
I think we can probably replace.
We could probably do that.
the Panthers one. Don't you think?
Yeah,
So that's happening. So
All right.
super excited about that.
I love that for
do
you.
this to yourself.